How's the new spot?
It's awesome.
Is it?
I feel like every day I'm just putting together new furniture that Andrea ordered, and breaking it like I did today. So that's amazing. Um, but
Yeah. I found the best furniture usually comes in one piece.
yeah, yep,
That's
yep.
that's I mean, call me crazy, dude. But this yeah, shit, that's just how it is. That's always how it goes.
It is what it is. I mean, no, but it's been great.
Of course.
I got everything set up downstairs for the bar now. I got my saltwater tank set up. I only broke one TV doing it, so that's
That's
good.
an improvement.
Welcome back, everybody. We are Rough Draft Research. You are the audience, and together we are on a quest for Dynasty Domination. How's it going over there, Daniel?
Dangerously well. I'm
Good.
starting to suspect things are happening in the football world, and
Mm,
I think I'm ready for it this time.
nice.
How are you,
Good,
Christian?
man. Good. We took 2 weeks off. We said we were only going to take one. We both decided we needed an extra one, and that helped a lot to get ready for this episode and also just continue moving in. So we're all moved in. No more shows downstairs. So if that was annoying you, listening to this podcast, I am sorry, but that doesn't happen anymore. So we're good to go there. And yeah, Packers preseason game, first preseason game was tonight. They got smoked by the Steelers. Didn't watch it, but uh, football's here, man.
Yeah,
uh,
Carson Beck is here.
let's go Hall of Fame game. Let's all blow everything out of proportion. But we are here kind of to blow things out of proportion, because this is the running back longevity slash just all about running backs episode that we do every year. So it's a bit denser, a lot of numbers going to be flying at you. I will say I still was very busy these last 2 weeks. I got what I could done and as much as I could, but if it is not as juicy as past years, I apologize. But we are here to talk about running backs and try to find the trends of when you should give up on these guys, when you should get rid of these guys, when they fall out of regularity's top 24 status. And we do that we have been tracking the top 24 running backs since 2012,
Yikes.
and tracking all of their every year, who falls out, who goes in, um, all of their carries, all their workload, what age certain guys retired at, just all the numbers that you can think of. We have been tracking it to see if there's any trends. Now, obviously, these trends kind of mean nothing to the individual running backs themselves. If you had followed our trends and got rid of Derrick Henry around these numbers we're going to talk about, you would have been sorely mistaken to do that. So it's really more about like, do you feel that your guy that you're thinking about is an outlier to these numbers, or is he not? Do you think he is a superstar and can kind of subvert expectations and continue playing like a Derrick Henry, like an Adrian Peterson, guys like that? Or do you think, okay, I'm tracking this number. He's been downward in projection and he's 27. He's got a ton of carries on him. Is it time to move on while he still has some tradability? Uh, that's kind of the gist of what this episode is trying to find those numbers and when is the right time to move on. I guess any additional thoughts on what we're doing here?
No, man, you got it down. Longevity is the name of the game.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well then to get started, I'm just gonna do some straight up numbers at you. So we've been tracking, like I said, since 2012. the top 24 guys. This is in PPR as well, which a major flaw in mine is that I haven't tracked receptions yet. Plan on doing that by next year so that it'll be even juicier. But as far as we've tracked 136 guys, so repeat names, obviously, over the last, over 12 years now. 89 of those names are retired. 47 of those guys are still active. Um, and when you look at the numbers, it's kind of staggering how many times guys have only appeared one time, because it is 57. By far, the largest group of guys have only appeared one time in the top 24 in the last 12 years. Now, some of that is slightly skewed. Guys like Steven Jackson were by 2012 were like kind of at the tail end of their career, and they only have one tracked here. But that's as far back as the data that I could get uh, with any actual validity to it. So that's where we stop. So it's a little skewed, but still 57 of the guys, and only three of them are last year rookies. Spoiler alert is Ashton Genty, Travion Henderson, and RJ Harvey. So everybody else only did it once. And a few of them might have a chance to pop back up on here. But a lot of these guys are already retired and they already did it once. So pretty crazy. 28 of the guys have only appeared twice. And what I found interesting this time was that there are zero going into their third year, which means we have nobody that has
Huh.
done 2 years in a row and then is heading into their third year to do it again. It's all been like sporadic type guys, which yeah, I thought that was fairly interesting. Usually there's a trend of guys kind of going for years in a row. And this 2 year appearance kind of broke that, which I was surprised by. Ironically, there's actually more that have appeared three times, and that is 31 guys, and three of them have done it 3 years in a row, and that is Jameer Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, and Devon Achane. So they're all 3 for 3, but 31 of the guys have appeared at least three times. Only 10 out of 136 have appeared four times, and only four times. Seven have appeared five. 10 have appeared six times. DeAndre Swift, of all people, is 6 for 6 right now.
Dang, dude.
And so he's killing it, but never better than 15th. So, he's never been an
Yeah.
RB1, but always an RB2, for a guy that gets,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I got into the stats the past 3 years, and I have to admit something a little shameful is I forgot that he did a year in Philadelphia. Like
Yeah.
I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but yeah, it's funny you bring up Swift because he is a bit of an anomaly. 3 teams, 6 years running. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absurd, especially for a guy that gets kind of shit on all the time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's been like fairly consistent at what he does. He's going to be 15th to 24th and he's going to be fine. You can slap him in as an RB2, RB3 and you'll be all right, not gonna win you any championships, but he's fine to have. Only two guys have made it 7 years. I mean, technically three because there's a guy that's made it eight, but we'll talk about that in a second. But two guys haven't done it 7 times, and that is Alvin Kamara and Ezekiel Elliott. So
wow,
Kamara obviously kind of has a chance to make it eight. Elliott already done, so they are sitting pretty. But nobody can hit Mr. King Henry. He is eight, the only guy that has 8 appearances on the top 24 in the last 12 years, and he's done it 8 in a row since his rookie season where he didn't make it. So he kind of got screwed by the fact that they sat him on the bench. But for the last 8 years, he has been dominating. And that's it. Everybody else falls off after that or before that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. This one's not as much longevity, but it can kind of help you make your decisions on some of these guys because we're going to talk a little bit about weight classes now, because these guys divide up, and the numbers are pretty staggering. So if you look at them, only 17 of the 136 have appeared in the top 24 are lower than 200 pounds or fewer than 200 pounds or whatever, however you want to say it, or way less than 200 pounds. And that's combine weight. Like some of these guys fluctuate, so you never know. But in terms of how they come in the combine, only 17 of them have appeared, and they have an average appearance total of 1.9, so just under two, which is the lowest of all of the weight classes. So these guys that show up, they are a little bit lighter weight. Seems like they can't handle it as much. But then you also do, you have guys like, Darren Sproles has been on it a few times. Devon Achan's been on there. Chris Johnson was on there a few times. Uh, you know, um, Jamal Charles was on there a few times. Jameer Gibbs was under 200 pounds. So there are exceptions to this rule, but it does feel like a lot of the guys that are sub 200 pounds have a hard time kind of coming back. Kyron Williams, another one that's been on there a few times. So it happens, just throwing that out there. And then if you step up from that, guys that are from 200 to 209, they jump up pretty significantly. 27 guys have done that with an average appearance of 2.1. So still not like that many more appearances, but it's a little bit of a bump and more guys that do it. This is where you get to the big one though, 210 to 219. There are 44 guys in that weight range, which is the largest group of any of the groups. And they have an average appearance of 2.7, so damn near three apiece for those guys. So that's really kind of your sweet spot, it seems like, in terms of weights or weight range for running backs coming into the NFL. That 210 to 219 range. If you like a guy coming out of the draft and he's in that range, you might feel a little better at it than some other guys. 220 to 229, that is 28 guys have done that for an average appearance of 2.5. So just a little bit less than the teens guys. And then you drop down to 14 guys when you talk about guys that are 230 to 239, with but an average appearance of 2.6. So they seem to last a little longer, even if there's not as many of them. And then interestingly, there have only been seven guys that are 240 or more that have come into the NFL and appeared on the top 24. And they have an average appearance of 2.8, which is the highest, which is surprising to me. But then if you put some context on it and you take out Derrick Henry, they
Yeah.
drop all the way to 1.8, which is actually lower than the sub 200 guys. So Henry's really carrying that entire weight class on his back.
Yeah, and that makes sense, man. He's got some rare traits on
Yeah.
this list that impress, including one of the most impressive things about Derrick Henry is he's one of these guys that has changed teams a lot and
Mhm.
managed to consistently produce, which we can't say that about all these guys without missing a step. So I don't know. Obviously Swift did as well, but yeah, Derrick Henry is just an anomaly, man. He's just
Yep.
he's carrying that weight, doesn't need the targets to do it,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
he's a beast.
I'm excited to really dig in next year to the targets and receptions and everything and see like who is being carried by that. Because I mean, there's several guys on here. I mean, I mentioned Darren Sproles, Danny Woodhead, J.D. McKissick is on here, and I feel like it's mostly that receiving work for those guys. So I'd like to compare those numbers, but sadly couldn't get around to it today. But yeah, Derrick Henry does not need that at all. Barely ever gets it, and still is in the top five of RBs usually.
Yeah. I got a little target information if you're interested in the last
Yes,
3 years.
super interested.
Okay, so I tracked just the past 3 years to look for kind of outside player, individual, weights and ages, and some of the other things as far as like usage, load, offensive line, and like general team stuff. And as far as targets go, the past 3 years we have 70 players that have 190 fantasy points or more,
Mm,
which would have been top 24 range. It would have been 72 officially for all 3 seasons, top 24, but I cut it at 70.
mm,
And of those 70, we had 19 of them had 70 targets or more.
mm.
And those guys averaged over that time span 290 fantasy points.
Oh wow.
Whereas guys with 40 targets or less, there were only 16 of them
Mm,
to be top 24, and their average compared to that is 238. So quite a bit lower.
yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Mm,
it really came down to like they had to overcome the lack of targets with touchdowns, which is
yeah.
kind of like the Derrick Henry thing.
Hmm.
There's some massive seasons for total touchdowns with Raheem Mozart had a
Yep.
21 touchdown season in
Absurd.
2023.
Yep.
Yeah, and Jonathan Taylor just had he had 20 in 2024 before he kind of jumped on the scene with larger target shares this past year.
Hmm.
So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, I got pretty interested. The spread goes from the top number of 129 targets in
Hmm.
2025 for Christian McCaffrey down to Derrick Henry is got the bottom two seasons with 21 and 22 targets
Jeez.
for 2024 and 2025. But those were both RB1 seasons. So
Yeah.
yeah, some guys can overcome that usage handicap because this is all PPR stats. So it definitely goes a long way in helping them maintain that RB1, RB2 status.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so it obviously means leaning on those guys that get the workload in the receiving game as well makes a lot of sense, but you can't ignore somebody. Nick Chubb was another guy
Sure.
who never really got targets and but was still consistently in the top 24. So pe guys can do it, but yeah, the numbers obviously skew towards the guys with the PPR. So if you don't play PPR, or I would assume half
Okay.
point
I don't,
PPR.
is anyone doing that?
I know some people don't like it. I know a lot of people play half,
Yeah,
which I think would kind of just even out. It'd just be less totals, like,
sure.
I guess that's how math works, right?
It's kind of
Um,
pure.
but yeah, we've always been a PPR family, so we're gonna keep talking about that. But yeah, it is interesting just to see how some of these guys rely entirely on the PPR range, but then the guys that seem to do it really, really consistently are both. And then you have, your outliers like Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, and I feel like Zeke. I don't know. Zeke probably got more targets than I'm realizing, but I feel like he was another guy that was a more of a carry guy. But well, all
Yeah,
right. Well,
well, James Cook is kind of following that same like
okay.
lower target number.
Yeah.
James Conner was kind of in there, and
Yeah.
then Kenneth Walker just because of the team
Mm,
build.
hmm.
And Kyron Williams kind of falls on that lower side target number,
Okay.
but still successful as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, guys can do it for sure. Kyron Williams is interesting being a smaller guy, but
It is.
well, all right. Thank you for that. That was super interesting. So we will go. So now I want to talk about just kind of the average numbers for the top 24s. So starting with just the average age of guys that are in the top 24, and this is from 2012 to 2025. So what, 14 years, including 12 and 25. The average age of play, right? Is that right? 12 to
Yeah,
24
yeah,
would be 12 or whatever. Doesn't matter.
it's right.
Uh, so the average age of the guys, of all the guys that were in the top 24s during that time, is 25.4. So not as many early on guys. And then kind of like it's basically like 23 to 26 seems like the most common out of all of it. That seems to be the like the running back prime. Now, obviously, you got guys like Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs and likely Jeremiah Love and these guys that come in really young and they start off really hot, but that's not the norm. You know what I mean? You look at a guy like Aaron Jones, who comes in later in the draft. His first 2 years, he's not like a major guy, and then he has a really great stretch of I think 4 or 5 years in a row where he's in the top 24, and now he's kind of fading out already. So he has that kind of the perfect example of what I'm talking about, where it's like got to sit, wait for a bit. Maybe they're involved in the offense. Maybe you can see some sparks, but then 23 to 26 age, or sometimes 27, they really start to hit the ground. Speaking of that, the average age of fallout of the top 24 every year, it's 26.9. Now, this doesn't account for people that got injured and fell out, who were younger. So I added their age, whatever age they were when they fell out of the top 24 that year. So the number would obviously skew higher if those guys were taken out, but I just didn't do that. So maybe that's something I'll look into as well next year. But yeah, so right around that 27 mark is when guys start to drop off, especially if they don't get injured. That is a very common age. So yeah, pretty interesting to me. That I mean, we've been saying that since we did that, and I mean, what we started this whole process, what, 22, 23, somewhere in there. And the numbers are pretty consistent every year that it's like right around 27. Sometimes it's a little bit lower, sometimes it's a little bit higher. And speaking of that, let's talk about the 2025 guys. So the average age of the guys in the top 25 or top 24 for 2025 was 25.6. So just barely above the average for the entire time. The average 25.4. Now we're sitting at 25.6. And the fallout age of guys this year was 27.7. So a little on the older side, and not too many super injury guys. The 10 guys that fell out. Alvin Kamara, obviously, he played most of the season. James Conner didn't, but he fell out, but was right in that age range. Bucky Irving was on the younger side and he got hurt. Chuba Hubbard, not 27, but he played most of the year. Aaron Jones also played most of the year, fell out. Joe Mixon hurt all year. David Montgomery was basically around all year, but just got overshadowed by Jahmyr Gibbs. Najee Harris, obviously, he got hurt all year. Rashad White fell out, not that old, but he is on the older side. He came in as a 24-year-old rookie. And then J.K. Dobbins, obviously hurt all year as well. So some of these guys were hurt, but the names that I really hit in terms of the age range, Kamara, Connor, Jones, Mixon, Montgomery, they're all kind of those perfect guys where you got to think when you have them, are they superstars and going to subvert these numbers or not? I think with Kamara, you would say yes. Jones made it a little farther than 27. He's 31 this year. But then, yeah, David Montgomery is a perfect example. He was in the top 24 for 6 straight years coming out of college, and then
Yeah.
right at his age 28 season, he falls off. So he made it a little bit farther, but it was never from his last 3 seasons. He was 24th, 17th, and 18th. So it wasn't like he was out there crushing it. So that's a guy that you ping. You go, okay, this is trending towards okay irrelevancy. Now he's in Houston. I think most of us think he'll have another big, decent season down there, but who knows? So with all that being said, I thought it'd be interesting if we looked at the top 24 guys and decided who was going to fall out. But I skipped a spot. So we need this. This is crucial. So the
Okay.
average number of running backs that fall out each year. So from year to year, the number of different names from the previous year, that average is 11.1. So damn near half of the top 24 every year falls out. The lowest it's ever been since I've been tracking it was the 2023 to 2024 year, and that was 8 guys that fell out. And
Okay.
then the highest it's ever been was 17 to 18, and that was 14 guys that fell out. So it's really like 8 to 14, that's a decent range, but when you're talking about the high and low, it was 12 a lot. Like it was right around 12. It was in 2014, 12 guys, 2015, 13 guys, 2016, 13 guys. 2020, 12 guys, 2021, 12 guys, 2023, 12 guys. Like it was fairly consistently right around half were in and out. So I thought it'd be fun if we looked at this, and maybe we don't do 12, maybe we skew to 10 or something, but we look at the guys in the top 24 from 2025 and try to see if we can pick who we think may not make it back.
Oh
uh,
no. Okay.
so the top 24, just rattling off names at you. I'll flash it on screen for the video audience, but we got Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achan, James Cook. That's your top 6. I feel like all those guys are safe, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How about we just do this? Stop me when you hear a name that you want to talk about.
Okay. Okay.
All
Can
right,
do
so we
that.
got, and I can do the same if we get to somebody before that. So
Got it.
Chase Brown was 7, Derrick Henry's 8, Kyron Williams is 9, Travis Etienne at 10, which
Uh-oh.
actually is my first name I want to bring up.
Okay.
Right there at 10. My thing
How
with go ahead.
No, I agree. Go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry.
perfect. So my thing with ETN is he hits a lot of the red flags that I'll get into a little bit later when we talk about retirement numbers.
Okay.
But he hits a lot of those red flags. And the other thing is he's going to a team in the Saints that I know a lot of people are excited about them, but like I'm not on board yet. And I could see it not really working. Kamara got re-signed there. Etienne's not like a super pass catcher dude. I mean, he had 36 receptions last year, but he had 6 touchdowns off of that, which feels in not sustainable to me. And he like I said, he's close to the fallout age. I think he's above the fallout age actually. For where we're talking about. Yeah, he's right at 27 right now. So this is his age 27 season. He hits the total carries mark that we'll talk about for retiring. Um, and I'm worried about him. I could see him being one of these guys that we rely on or we think we can rely on because he had a big year last year, but he goes to a new team and it just doesn't work. What say you?
I totally agree with you. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've got some stuff to say about him
Okay.
in the future
Okay.
about his big 2023 season.
Hmm.
Um, but I feel like, yeah, the only reason he really popped on that one was the 73 targets, which
Hmm.
I don't really see him getting with Kamara on the team. And
No.
and that's really it. I mean, he could do well, but he was in a pretty functional offense in the Jags last season, and
Hmm.
I think if the Saints are going to have success, it's going to be in the passing game, and it's going to be Alvin Kamara involved as well, doing what he does best, which is 100% receiving
Hmm.
running back. So he's not going to have the X factor to keep him competitive as far as the pass catching work, and I think he needs that to sustain it.
Yeah, I completely agree. So okay, so we'll jot down ETN, pencil him
Okay,
in as one of the
got it.
10. Ashton Genty's next. I think we're good there. Javonte Williams is good, I would say. Josh Jacobs is an interesting name, solely because of suspension. The offseason stuff, nobody knows where that's going. If he gets suspended, I could definitely see him not being in the top 24, depending on how many games it is. But if he doesn't, then it'd be hard for me to pick him to not be in the top 24. So I think we leave that one alone just because like we don't know enough information.
Okay, well, this is a 28.5-year-old
Yeah, true.
coming out on a squad whose preseason offensive line ranking is 28th, and they were 22nd in targets to the running back room in
Yeah.
2025. So I'm going to put him on the bubble.
Okay. We
So
he'll be on the bubble. I can't even argue with that. I can see where your head's at there. So Saquon, I think we're good there.
yeah.
DeAndre Swift. Does the streak end?
Yes.
Surely he doesn't make 7 in a row.
Yes. This one is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's hard because I don't know. They've got a top five O line coming in
Hmm.
to the season, and he's got a track record. But it's the Kyle Monangai and the changing of the guard,
Yeah. Hmm.
as well
Hmm.
as the 27 and a half currently. It just doesn't make sense for them to overload him. We can say the name Ben Johnson if you want
Hmm.
to, but a guy that knows how to rotate backs efficiently, I would say.
Hmm.
And there's nothing really separating Swift, except for experience over Monangai from what I saw at a
Yeah.
Monangai's rookie year.
Yeah, I'm with you. He was definitely a name I had already pre-penciled in. I think, I mean, yeah, obviously I talked about it. He's been good. He's been consistent.
He's yeah, 6 seasons.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Johnson leans on the younger guy of the two, and honestly leans on Caleb Williams and that passing attack. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like Swift had 34 receptions last year, which is good, but it's not like world shattering. So yeah, if he starts to slow down at all, which the numbers say this would be right around the time he is, and yeah, Swift is a guy that I would absolutely say is not in that superstar status of like I break number trends. So who knows? He could be, but I would say we jot him down. So we got ETN, Achan, whatever, and Swift, and then Jacobs on the bubble. Kenny Gainwell is an interesting one. Came out of nowhere with Pittsburgh. Uh, not really nowhere. We all know who Kenny Gainwell is, but he just looked awesome last year. And now he's going to Tampa Bay to kind of sub uh, Bucky Irving down there, who is fairly injury prone, I would call him. But Gainwell himself, he's 27. He doesn't hit a lot of the carry marks because he just hasn't had a huge workload. Even in college, he only had 235 carries for Memphis. So like he doesn't have a lot of tread on the tires. And I do kind of like the fit down there. I kind of I like it, but he does seem like a prime candidate to fall out.
Yeah, so they're building a running back room that's a committee big time.
Yeah.
For him to hit 16th last year after having a career high as RB 42
Hmm.
in his rookie season, and a lot of it being carried exclusively by a 85 target season. I don't really see that 1 year blip being something that we could expect more of.
Hmm.
Um, I hate to say it, here I go again. But looking through kind of the random stuff that I went through on my process here, the Pittsburgh Steelers had like five running backs
Mm.
on the top 24 over the past 3 seasons, which is kind of insane
Hmm.
to think about. So I don't know necessarily if the player is responsible for that success or if he just fell in to that system of success. And Tampa Bay has a number of successful running backs in their recent history as well,
Hmm.
but they really have more of a history of having a guy for a certain role.
Mm.
Whether it's Sean Tucker at the goal line, or if it's Bucky Irving doing early down stuff. I think Kenneth Walker, Kenny
Gainwell.
Gainwell
Mm.
is he's more of a just a part, not a whole of this backfield. So I don't think he's in top 24 contention.
Okay. Well, I hope you're wrong, just because I have him on one of my rosters, but I cannot argue with the logic. So, yep, we'll go Etienne, Swift, Gainwell, and then these next two I kind of want to talk about at the same time because they're on the same team in 2026. So we have Jalen Warren and Rico Dowdle. Both are 27 going into this season, and both are fairly high on the carry mark. So we've got for total carries for Rico Dowdle, let's pull it up right here. He is at, oh, actually, he's only at 1,002, including NCAA and NFL. And then Jalen Warren is at 986. So I was actually wrong. They're both kind of under uh the the big marker where it gets kind of crazy for workload for these guys in total carries. So they don't have a lot of tread on their tires either. They are both older though, both 27 and both kind of I don't know, feel like they do the same thing, right?
They're definitely gonna be snacking on each other's lunches big time.
Hmm.
I do think that there's a chance for Warren to get more third down type stuff and passing work, just because
Hmm.
he has a longer history with the team in the playbook. But as far as like, yeah, I think we're going to see a varied workload, and it's just going to depend on who's hitting when. But it feels like a hot hand backfield.
Yeah,
I
I
feel like you
agree.
could snip them both, but I do think if I was putting money down, it'd be on Rico
To fall out or to be
to succeed more than
okay.
Warren, but I don't think either of them are going to be able to sustain top 24.
Yeah, I think if you looked at their numbers together at the end of the year, you would have a top 24 back.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe top 10,
But
top 5.
I just don't think, yeah, I don't think they'll be able to sustain it. So we're sitting at Dowdle, Warren, Gainwell, Swift, Etienne, and Jacobs on the bubble. So we have five right now, maybe six. So we need five more. We
Oh.
got Brees Hall coming up next. I can't do that. I can't say Brees is gonna fall out. What say you?
It's not something that I would say,
Okay.
but if he's if he ends up between 20 and 24, I wouldn't be shocked.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. RJ Harvey, interesting name. With Dobbins and Coleman kind of spelling him, and it doesn't seem like they want to rely on Harvey as much. How do you feel about Harvey?
I think he has a chance to succeed, but this is again too many mouths to feed
Mm,
with the Dobbins and then the surprise drafting of Coleman. I don't think I think Harvey may be a top 24 back for sections, maybe
gotcha.
the start of the season, but I don't
Mm,
think he finishes long term there. I think that they're gonna invest in some of the newer names around there.
okay.
And then if Dobbins stays healthy, I mean, the dude is extremely dynamic, and
Yeah.
his health contributed to Harvey's success last year. So
Yeah, if Dobbins stays healthy, then Harvey definitely doesn't make it, in my opinion. Like yeah, I feel like he kind of relied on the fact that Dobbins wasn't there, and then they didn't really have another guy, and now it seems like at least we like Coleman. His name seems to keep popping up, so like it does seem like they have a guy to kind of split that time. So yeah, okay, well, six at Harvey. Uh, 21st was Travion Henderson. This one's a weird one with all the stuff, him not being on the field for third downs, stuff like that. I gotta think that with the Patriots being good on offense again, that Henderson will benefit from that. But I think Ramondre Stevenson was like 26th or 27th. So,
yeah, he was
uh,
25th.
25th. Okay, yeah. So he's right on the edge there. So I could see that happening again, enough that I don't want to take out Travion here.
Yeah, I don't want to remove him either. I think that Ramondre is a couple fumbles away from
Yeah.
you know, watching football from a really good seat.
Fair enough. All right. Next up was Kenneth Walker. I don't think we can go there. I do think we can go Tony Pollard, though, um,
Yeah,
who has quietly had like a really good career, but he is
extremely.
29 now. He's sitting at 1,400 total carries. And he's always been kind of on the back end of the top 24. He had that eighth overall season back in 2022. But other than that, it's always been kind of in the latter half. So I think we could go him with Singleton being there. Tajay Spears is still around. I could just see them kind of spelling him a little bit, being a 29-year-old back.
Yeah, and this team really has put a lot into the pass game,
Mm,
and I think that that has to be their focus for now.
yeah. Okay, so Pollard gets us seven guys. And then unfortunately, I think our 24th here, Zach Charbonnet, I think we put him just because, he ended the season hurt. He's going to be splitting time with Jadarian Price whenever he does get back, but we don't even know when that's going to be. So I think by sheer default, Zach Charbonnet is probably not going to make it.
That's correct.
Okay. So we're sitting at eight. If we throw in Jacobs, we're at nine. So we'll
So
throw in Jacobs. So we have to do it. I made these rules. We got to pick one more guy
okay,
that's
is
not going to make it.
Swift is already on the not
Swift is in
making it
there. So
list.
right now we're Etienne,
Okay,
Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Kenny Gainwell, Jalen Warren. Rico Dowdle, RJ Harvey, Tony Pollard, and Zach Charbonnet.
Okay, then I have to put Brees out.
Damn.
I know. I
Oh
know.
man.
I know.
I
I
don't
don't want.
know. I
I
don't know
don't
if I can
know.
do that.
Yeah, I know. It hurts. Hurts me as well.
I think, oh man, yeah. Um, can't go Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, it's between for me. It's between Barkley, um, Henry, CMC,
The
and
older guys, yeah.
yeah, and then but Brees makes sense because of the offense.
Yeah, Brees has the worst offense. I feel like those other guys, you're almost relying on an injury.
Correct. Yeah, and that's going to be part of one of these
Yeah,
guys' demise.
but I
So
hate I hate being like, I know CMC is gonna get hurt, so I'm gonna knock him out. But given San Francisco's track record,
yeah, dude,
uh
substations.
yeah, the substation's down there. Okay, I'll say, yeah, Brees makes the most sense on paper. I think it's not gonna be Brees. I do think
No.
one of our stars is gonna get hurt, but I don't want to root for that. So I'll go with you on Brees, but I have a feeling Brees is actually gonna have a good year and will be up there, and
I
it'll
hope so.
be a sad year for one of these other guys. But we
So
spent enough time there.
okay, okay.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I didn't know if you're filling Kyron. Yeah, Javante makes
You know,
sense, and then
I thought about Kyron.
yeah,
He's just going to be on such a good team. And they rely, I mean, 10 touchdowns last year. I feel like he's always kind of in that range in touchdowns. Yeah,
totally.
the year before he was sitting at 14. The year before that, the year before that, he had 12. So, and I think a lot of that is just they use him in the red zone and he's on a really good offense. So it's hard for me. I did think about him. He is going to be 26, so he's like right on that border. Um, but yeah,
50.
just a good team. You know, it's hard to. The reason we're saying no to Breeze is because he's on a bad offense. So it's hard to use that reverse logic and say Kyron, you know.
Yeah, well, it's between him and Travion if we're pushing for an even 10 or 11 there.
My heart could not take it if it's Travion, so I'd rather say Breeze.
Okay, that works. Yeah, Kyron's coming off 15, 16, 13 total touchdowns past 3 years.
Yeah, though I was saying only rushing. So yeah, those
Yeah.
are even including that. So all right. There is one thing I added this year that was not in previous years. I went through and added all 136 guys playoff carries. Now, the reason I
Ooh.
didn't do this originally was I felt like it wasn't going to skew the numbers enough because there were going to be some guys that had, I don't know, a couple hundred, um, and then other guys that had zero, you know, just because of the nature of the NFL. But I decided to add it, and I was kind of proven right. Like the top guy had 211 carries in the playoffs, and those like the high end guys were like 150 and higher. And there weren't that many of them. And then there were a ton of guys that had zero, a few that had like 20 something. So it like it just the overall numbers it did not skew, but I will say when we get into retirement numbers, they are included. So it did move them from previous years that I've done this. Um, but what I thought would be fun and interesting is if you
Oh no.
could give me the top five running backs in playoff carries since 2012.
Since 2012, the
Yep.
top five in playoff carries.
And bonus
Okay.
points if you have them in order.
Oh, I can't do that, but I can.
Okay.
Shit, dude. This is gonna be. I mean, how many of them are even actively playing at
I
this
can give
point?
you that.
Okay.
Wow. One.
One. Okay. Jeez, dude, you're killing me. I shine a light on my weaknesses here. Let's go with okay, successful running backs who were also on successful teams. Um, jeez. Since 2012, you
12.
said?
Yep, 2012.
Oh my God. Is Ezekiel Elliott on the list?
He is not.
Okay. All right. See, there we go. Okay. Let's see. No, Derrick Henry had some drought years with Tennessee. Christian McCaffrey had drought years with Carolina. This is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I
It's
can
tough. It is honestly tough.
It's okay. I'll keep it looking forward. I'll keep thinking about it. Um, shoot, dude. All right, I'm gonna keep thinking. Is Todd Gurley on the list?
He is not.
Jeez, dude. All right, okay, and only one of them is active right now.
Yes, one of them is active.
I'm trying to. I can't. My brain doesn't work like this. I wasn't prepared for such a conversation. Let's see. I may. Oh yeah, go. Yeah. Go ahead. What
Oh,
were
I
you
was
saying?
I was gonna find Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley is 56th in playoff carries with 44.
So who the hell are we
Ezekiel
even?
Elliott was 19th with 103.
19th. Okay. Well, okay. What about Marshawn Lynch?
That's number one. Ding, ding, ding. 211 playoff carries.
Okay. Fuck else was even successful? Um, did I dismiss? I'll circle back for Derrick Henry
He
because
was number two. Yep,
okay.
198. I think he didn't have that many playoff seasons with Tennessee, but there was that stretch with Vrabel, and he just got a ton of carries, and
Well,
now even with the Ravens.
I mean, they did have some little runs there with Mariota
Hmm.
back in the
Yep.
Tennessee days. I'm forgetting.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I have no idea on the next three. So Derrick Henry's the actively playing.
That he's the only one still active.
Yeah, and then yeah, I mean, like shit. The Patriots were always in there, but like Vereen was in there,
Hmm.
and he probably wasn't on this list, was he?
No, not on this
Eh,
list.
Damn it, who was that? Yeah, I give up. I give up.
Okay. So three
Okay.
was Ray Rice with
Okay.
191. So before he got
Since
kicked out of the league.
how many seasons even qualified for that?
Well, that was his whole career, I guess,
Okay.
since
Damn it.
2012. That's fair.
So it's not since 2012. It's running
Yeah, I
backs
guess I
that
did their
were
full career carries.
so
Yeah, that's
okay. All
fair.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Ray Rice. We'll go with
Yeah,
that.
fair
Is
enough. I'll give you
Adrian
that one.
Peterson on the list?
No, actually, he's
Okay.
barely on it at all. Ray Rice is the only one that skews that way. I didn't think about
Oh,
that.
gotcha.
Leonard Fournette is number four with
Oh,
152.
Blake Bortles, huh?
Yeah, old Blake Bortles. And then Joe Mixon, actually, with 149 was fifth. And then
Okay.
it was Frank Gore right outside of that. But the most surprising thing to this, James Cook is seventh
Okay.
in playoff carries already. Just because I mean the Bills always have those deep runs and he's been there the whole time.
Holy
So
shit.
yeah, he's
So
at
no,
145.
yeah, Josh Allen's probably on this list
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, he probably would be.
So there's no Patriots up there, huh?
LeGarrette Blunt right
Okay.
there at eighth. And then you got Saquon,
Uh,
CMC, Isaiah Pacheco actually is
what the fuck?
tied with CMC.
Yeah, my brain just doesn't work like this at all. This is none of it's surprising to hear, but I would have been
Oh yeah, I mean it's tough. It's definitely tough. I just thought that would be a little fun.
it was
All
uniquely
right,
embarrassing.
so let's get into retirement numbers. All right, so for these RBs, these 136 guys, the average age of retirement, 29.4. So right
Okay.
around that 30 mark where people say, oh, RBs are useless after 30. tends to be true. The average total carries, this includes college, NFL, and playoffs now, is 1,668. So that
Oh,
number, if you hit that number, you are above average in terms of when people retire. Now, obviously, the way averages work, it kind of sucks. Some of these guys are pretty low, some of these guys are really high, but that is the average number, obviously. But I also made a subcategory of the average number of NFL only carries when they retire is 1,098. So you're looking at like 1,100-ish carries is the average amount that of workload that a running back is going to get over this time period. The average number of top 24 appearances, 2.2. So that is right around what I was talking about earlier. The average length of career is 7 years. Um, so not a very long time, not a lot of workload is what we're learning. The oldest guy that's retired on this list, he made it to 37, is Frank Gore.
oh,
Uh, the
yeah.
youngest retirement on this is a guy named Mikel Leshoure, who used to play for the Lions very early on in this and retired at 23 years old. Um,
Okay.
I was injury related. He tore his Achilles in his rookie season, missed it all, then popped up and had a decent follow-up season, which I think is when he made this thing. In 2012, he was 18th out of the top 24. Then he got hurt again the next year and retired after that.
Who
So,
did he play for?
the Lions. And
Okay.
I said 2024. That's stupid. 2012, he was 18th. So right at the beginning of this.
Gotcha.
Um, uh, Pretty sad story, actually, if you want to get into it. But
Yeah.
only 26 players on here have 1,500 or more NFL carries, and only seven of those guys are active. Here's another round of can you name them,
Oh
Daniel?
no. 1,500
1,500 carries.
carries
Seven players are active
and how many total?
of 26.
Oh, okay.
So 19 of them are already retired.
Oh, right. So Derrick Henry,
Yep. 2662.
um, I'd say probably Christian McCaffrey.
Yep. He is fourth on the list or fifth on the list, 1658.
Okay. Saquon Barkley.
Yep. He's third, 1826.
Um, let's see. I said Derrick Henry.
Hmm.
Looking for
You've got one, three, and five right now.
one, three, and five. Is David Montgomery on this list?
No.
Okay. Over 1,500. And so there's four more active.
Hmm.
Okay, give me a second here. Let me think about my world. Okay, you want me to just name the active, or should I be guessing the retired players as well?
I mean, you can if you want. That I feel like I felt like that'd take a while, but you
That would,
can.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, all right. I'll let me circle my wagons one more time. 1,500. Where are the old heads? It's Alvin Kamara doesn't have that many
Yeah.
carries. He
You
does.
sure? Yep.
He
1674. So
16.
he's fourth.
Okay. Shit. All right. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to bounce around and the brain is Kareem Hunt on this list?
No, he is not.
Okay. All right. All right. Let me
Kind of
is
surprising.
yeah, you'd think, but
He's
Josh
at
Jacobs?
1393. Yeah, Josh Jacobs is number two, actually, 1840.
Okay. And so then there's two more guys.
Yep.
Um
One of them is near and dear to my heart.
oh, Aaron Jones.
Yep, 1564. He's sixth.
Okay. And then there's one more. Oh God. Let's see. I'm scanning the universe right now. It's got to be something simple that I'm just overlooking. James Conner?
No.
No. How many does
Mm.
he have?
Let me find out.
Okay. All right. You don't, yeah, don't hurt yourself. Let me keep score.
1393, same as Kareem Hunt.
Okay. So they're both within 100. So these aren't
Hmm.
horrible
No,
guesses.
yeah, you're good.
Let's see. Old people with good stuff. Bu- 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 bu. Mm. All right, is it the seventh guy I miss? Is it? It's not Swift, is it?
It's not Swift. It is the seventh
Okay,
guy you're missing.
it is the number seventh guy. Oh
I
fuck!
I
All
will
right.
say he's younger than you would think, but not he's in the warning range of fallout. He's been hurt a couple times, but he's one of those pure runners. Doesn't do a ton in the receiving game, but scores a lot of touchdowns.
Oh no,
Um, went to Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Oh, okay. Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, sir. Jonathan Taylor at
Okay,
1551.
or
Joe
Melvin
Mixon.
Gordon. Sorry,
Yeah, it was going to be one of the two. Well, Melvin Gordon's already retired. So
it's true.
Joe Mixon just missed because I have him on the retired list.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's 100% announced, but I saw somewhere that he's telling people he's retired. So I'm going to take that. But he had 1816. So he would have been in that. But yeah, only seven active guys have over 1,500 carries. Thought that was pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
Um, So active top 24 players in the danger zones of one of the zones I've talked about. This will be kind of how we end it here, talking about people you might need to worry about. Um, and this isn't everybody. So like guys like Aaron Jones, who fell out of the top 24 already, not considering him. Joe Mixon, same thing. Obviously, I have him retired. James Conner's another guy. I'm only talking about guys that were in the top 24 in 2025 that have one of these red flags. So over the retirement age or at the retirement age. We've got Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley. I think without injury, I think you can pretty much rely on those guys. Fallout age is a little more stressful. We got Josh Jacobs, you mentioned. Rico Dowdle, we already talked about moving him out. Jonathan Taylor is right at 27.
Wow.
Uh, Etienne is right there as well. We already moved him out. DeAndre Swift. I wrote down Chuba Hubbard, but that's silly because he's not in the top 24. Whoops. But he is a warning sign. Jalen Warren and Kenny Gainwell. So most of these guys we already talked about removing from the top 24. Jonathan Taylor's the only one we didn't seem to be worried about at all. But he's actually a red flag for total carries and fallout age. Just under that age, we've got James Cook, weirdly, Chase
Wow.
Brown, and Javonte Williams are kind of right there bordering that. Um, and then total carries, obviously Henry, Barkley, Taylor, CMC, Jacobs, and then Achan, which is a reason that I was worried about Achan already being at the Fallout age, already being at the Fallout total carries, and then moving to a team that I don't fully believe in. That was like, that's three red flags for me with him. That's why I'm staying away from him in redrafts and would probably be trying to trade him off the back of a pretty good year if I had him anywhere. I do have him. Maybe I should think about doing that. And then I wanted to throw this one out. NFL carries. So that what was it, 1,098 mark. Obviously, the guys that are already well above that I've already talked about. But DeAndre Swift is a guy that is above that number already of 1,098. He is sitting at, well, he's
Uh-oh.
not above it. He's at 1,069, but he's going to be above it. So, and he's a guy we talked about, like, oh, I feel like that's a guy that the wheels are probably going to fall off here soon. So that was an interesting one to me. So again, just looking for trends, just looking for numbers to pay attention to, and hopefully we've provided you some of that. But that's all I got. Did you have anything else you wanted to throw in there?
I do have a small tidbit if
Yeah,
you would entertain it.
let's do it.
Okay, this is basically just me saying a lot of these guys are superstars, immensely talented, but there are some factors outside of the players that impact their level of success. I've mentioned this a few times, but I'm really, for my side, looking for the last 3 years, guys in the top 70 total seasons in the last 3 years. So they would have been RB2s or better. And that cutoff was 190 fantasy points. And then
Mm,
I split that number of 70 players in half and put, 35 of them over 242, which would have been like your RB1s
mm,
for that time period. And just looking at the top half, there's some like really stud teams, and then some really stud players. There's five teams that have made it all three of the past 5 years, and it's Detroit, and Gibbs doing it each of those years. Atlanta, obviously, with Bijan doing it each of these last years.
hmm.
And then you have Miami,
Yeah.
but it was 2 years Achan and 1 year Raheem Mozart, and kind of mentioned that 21 touchdown season he had in 2023. And then Cincinnati, we're all pretty impressed by Chase Brown, but
Mm,
his past 2 years prior to that, Joe Mixon was in there.
mm,
So something about their passing game obviously lightens up the attention to the running back, giving them some more. And then Chase Brown, obviously getting more targets last year, was super helpful. And then there is a single player who's done it on multiple teams the last 3 years, and that's Derrick Henry. And like I
hmm.
said, I kind of brought that up, but looking at teams that produced running backs over 190 or basically RB2 or better, there were 10 teams in the past 3 years that have only done it one time. So that's kind of suspicious. You're looking out for these teams. That's Cleveland, Denver, Houston, Kansas City, the Chargers, Raiders, Minnesota, the Patriots, Giants, and Washington.
Okay.
So I'm a little suspicious of those teams. But the thing I kind of fixated on was offensive line play, and looking at these teams of the top 35. So, like your true RB1s, 15 of those guys had top 10 PFF run blocking O lines at the
Mm,
end of this season. So that's a pretty good chunk. And then 12 were kind of in the middle. And then you had eight guys who overcame bottom 10
oh,
O
wow.
line. Yeah. And so I want to look at those guys and just like see, people that are kind of overcoming their situation as far as, set up for success. And Devon Achan did it twice
Wow.
with bottom 10 O lines. And we know that's a lot of pass catching, right? And then Chase Brown has done it twice. But more recently, we had Ashton Genty did it
Mm,
last year, which was pretty impressive. They were like 30th in O line ranking. But then there's some one-off seasons, which 2023 had three guys do it: Rashad White, Travis Etienne, and Brees Hall.
mm,
So those are the 8 seasons where people were able to do better than kind of their situation with the O line holding them back. And 7 of those 8 seasons resulted in target numbers of 70 or higher,
mm.
with the exception being Chase Brown's 2024 season, which was 65 targets. But I kind of drew a line at that 70, and that is what it is. But I say all this to say, going forward, I'm looking to see who I can trust. I've got PFF's O-line rankings, which just came out yesterday, so this is hot
Hot
news,
fresh.
everybody. And and it's not looking good for some of these franchises. And mostly the things that concern me is half of these bottom five teams didn't produce a top 24 running back last
Mm,
year. And a lot of the other ones are having some activity go on. So I'm just going to go through them from the bottom up. So number 23, right? The 10th, whatever, the bottom. Let's just go the other way. I'm going from the worst. I can't reverse count it, and I'm not going to do
okay.
it. So the worst O line, expected out there is Washington,
Okay.
which kills me for several reasons. Because we got Bill, right? And people are
Yeah.
trying to do the rally Bill. And you got Rashad White, who's
Yeah.
actually got two top 24 seasons, as we've
Yeah.
discussed. But we're looking at things like they were dead last in targeting the running back room
Woof.
last season. Yeah, and they were top 10 in rush attempts, but they have the worst O-line, and they haven't had a top 24 back the past two seasons.
Mm,
So that kills them. We've got Cleveland at 31, second worst O line. They also haven't had a top 24 back the past 2 years. I think their situation's a little different. They were
mm,
top five in targeting the running back room, even though a lot of that was split with Sampson going out. But I think that they have more of a concrete, face as far as Quinshon Judkins. So
mm, mm-hmm,
I do think he has the ability to overcome that O line and perform. But then third worst O line according to these rankings is Jacksonville.
mm. Oh,
So,
so all the Tootin fans.
yeah, we got a lot of tooting, people tooting their horns out there. So that is somewhat concerning. They had a great season out of Travis Etienne last year. He did pretty well, but they were top 10 in rush attempts, and didn't really target the running back room very heavily. So it's just something I'm a little weary of. But moving along, nothing from them last year, but 2024 had some good work from Tennessee, but they have the worst, fourth worst O line. So you're looking at a mix there. They had the 30th ranked rush attempts, so pretty low numbers in the rush attempts last year. And kind of mentioned it earlier. I'm not certain that that's going to change much, especially we're looking at. The OC Dable's not got too much of a strong track record. He didn't produce a top 24 running back out of New York the last 2 years. You know, take it as a grain of salt. I hate to say it, Tony, or I hate to say it. Sorry, Tony Pollard is probably going to have a split carry load anyway. All right, fifth worst is Green Bay. I don't know how you feel about their O line this year. But that was kind of the reason I put Josh Jacobs on the bubble as well. I
Yeah.
mentioned they're right there, like bottom 10 is targeting the running back room.
Hmm.
Something to think about. I think Josh Jacobs is awesome. I think the team's going to do well, but there were enough red flags there where I put him on the bubble.
Yeah.
But I'm not too worried about this situation. Looking through their history in the last 3 years, they kind of float in that range for run blocking. So
Hmm.
that's fine. They know what they're doing. Mix up. I'm not going to worry about them, but I do worry a lot about Houston. They're on
Yeah.
this list
Hmm.
a little bit lower. They didn't produce a top 24 guy last year. They're 27th on the O line rank and bottom 10 as far as targeting the running back room. There's some new faces there, right? Demont might be able to overcome that, but the split with Woody Marks taking the pass catching work, a little weary.
Hmm.
I'll pick up the pace here. We got Carolina at 26th, and I
Yeah.
think there's plenty to worry about with Chuba and the thought of Jonathan Brooks getting in and taking part as well. So that's a tough one. Miami is 25th, and they have no receiving pedigree whatsoever, and they just lost the dynamic play caller. So Achan, I think, can persevere. He's done it twice already with bottom 10 O lines, but it may not be a pretty year for him in this transition. So be a little weary. You got Baltimore. I think this is mostly kind of a changing of the guard. But Derrick Henry can overcome that. I'm not too
Yeah.
worried about him.
Yeah.
Top three in rush attempts last year. So that's that. And then the number 10 worst offensive line rank is the Giants.
Mm.
And I think
Scatterbo.
Yeah. So they were second in rush attempts last year, and they were 10th in targets to the running back room. I don't think that this is going to be a problem, but they did happen to be 10th. So if Scadaboo's playing out there, I think we can expect him to crack the top 24 pretty
Yeah.
easily. But yeah, just things I was looking at, so I like to look at the O-line a little bit in the off season, and I
Yeah.
hadn't got that chance. So this was kind of
Yeah.
me piggybacking on the running back conversation with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's one of the most important parts. I can't speak to all the offensive lines. I do think Green Bay was better towards the end of the year, and they're getting one of their best, their right tackle, who's no longer Zach Tom, Zach Bacco changed his last
Oh,
name.
do it.
So they're getting him back. I'm not as worried, but I am concerned. I do think there are question marks along the offensive line. They're relying on not two rookies, but two. Uh, rookies from a couple of years ago to really take forward steps with Jordan Morgan on the left tackle side and Anthony Belton on the right guard spot there. Um, but they did play a little bit better towards the end of the year when they went to that. They kind of were moving pieces around. Yeah, it's a huge concern. And then, yeah, like you said, with Josh Jacobs being 28 years old and kind of I don't want to say looked washed last year, but did not look as spicy as he has in previous years, despite still getting a lot of work and touchdowns there. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, you got to pay attention to the offensive lines. It's one of the most the positions that's going to be most affected by it outside the quarterback. You know, if you're getting hit, we saw it with Genty. Genty was great. He had a bunch of missed tackles for us in terms of like actually trying to get around people, but he was getting hit at the line of scrimmage or behind almost all the time. So it just makes it difficult. So yeah, appreciate you shouting that out. I hadn't talked about much offensive line play yet, and that used to be my thing. So we need to get back to it for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, we're running out of time, but I
All
thought
right.
sprinkle it in, and
Yeah.
we'll see if it holds water. At the end of the season. Then I never buy too much into these preseason
Yeah,
position group rankings too
it's
much, but
tough.
it's,
All right. Well, there you have it. Sorry for taking so long, taking 2 weeks off, but we are back. We will be with you through the season. But until next time, we've been Rough Draft Research. You've been the audience, and we'll see you next week.
oh yeah, we will be here next week. Have a good one, y'all.